What is happening?
Oh man, not
How you feeling? You feeling better now?
not really. Still pretty pissed off. I don't
Tell
think I'll
me
feel
about it.
better until we freaking have that parade, man.
Let me just start by saying this. I was not optimistic after the first period. In fact, I thought they were done. In fact, I uttered the words, "It is over. It's done." Because it was a continuation of game one, or sorry, game three, I should say. It's a continuation of game three, the way they were playing, the way they were getting hit, the way they were taking dumb penalties, the way they were marching into and it was the same, well, except for Ekholm, usual suspects. And I was like, I cannot believe that they went after game three. They had a talk about it. McDavid probably reamed them out. He comes out calm and reassures everybody that this is going to be okay. And I'm expecting a full ass kicking of the Florida Panthers. And then they come out and they do that. And the chance of Skinner was getting under my skin. No pun intended. And at the end of the freaking first period, I was done, man. I was like, this team is done. Like, we're not going to beat these guys. There's no way they're coming back. And of course, you believed 100% that there's going to be a comeback.
I wouldn't say 100%, but I don't know. I thought the start wasn't that bad. I thought McDavid's line came out. They took it to him a little bit at the beginning. First couple of they almost scored early, but after that, everybody else was just flat overall.
Yeah.
And Skinner actually Stewart played not too bad. He was
Yeah.
actually pretty good. Stood on his head, and then yeah, the penalties just started. I mean, you know what? Part of it is you're on the road, crappy ice. You're weathering the storm a little bit. They were bending, not really breaking, not really getting a whole lot of flow. I think the shots were like 11-2 at the time or something.
Yeah.
But that's another thing with respect to the shot clock. I'm not sure how accurate that clock is, right? I remember watching later on in the game, we had 3, 4 shots on goal after a power play, and the shot moved up one count, right? But besides the point, go down 5-on-3 again. what were we? What do we say after the last game? We're like, it cannot possibly get any worse. And what happened in that? What was it? I guess the last 10 minutes of that first period, it got worse, right?
It was unbelievable, man. It was hard to watch. How could
I
you be
mean,
a diehard Oilers fan? And I'm talking about the old school Oiler fans who've been around like you and I, 30 plus years, watched them through the decade of darkness. We get this one of the all-time talents in McDavid, and you have Draisaitl to top it off. They get to the dance last year. They learn a lot. They come to the dance this year, and after two overtime games against Florida, they come into Florida and they lose. That was a gut punch, man. That was like, this
you
cannot
know,
be happening.
again, like I said, it's 0-0. First penalty goes to Kane. Questionable, arguable, but why the hell, for the third game in a row, are you putting yourself in that same exact position,
It's
right?
unreal. It's unreal.
And
How do you?
then Nurse, with some more stupidity, go down 2 men. Immediately after they score, I think it's 1-0 at the time. Wallman gets smashed in the head, high stick that goes non-called. We're irate. Probably everybody watching that's cheering for Canada, cheering for the Oilers is irate. Um, because it seems like it's game three all over again, right?
Yep.
Um, couple of things. The third goal. I mean, Stetcher overskates it,
Up,
and again
rough
another
right.
missed call. Right,
Yeah, he
gets hit.
got smacked right in the head, in the face.
What I don't get is these are on puck plays. Right,
Yeah.
there's another one with Bouchard in the second period, which we can talk about a little bit later when we get there. But how are these calls being missed? And yet we're calling the high stick on Evander Kane. And I mean, even the first goal, I'll tell you, not many people saw this, but off the face-off, Nugent Hopkins, I think Hockey Night in Canada was actually criticizing Edmonton for having Nuge out there. But that was a pick. Off the face-off, you can't hold the guy up for that long and stand in
Complete,
front of him for that long.
complete interference. He was blocking his path to getting to the puck. And Hockey Night in Canada guys, rather than talk about how, the guy's interfering with him, Like he's blocking
Oh,
his
Nugent
path.
injured. Why is he out there? Right?
Yeah, they were
Come on.
criticizing him for not getting. Oh, you're the only forward there. You should be trying to get to the puck. Well, he's trying to get to the puck, but there's an idiot in front of him holding him down. Like he wouldn't let him go through.
And at that point, you're thinking probably too, if you try to push through, what if they call another penalty, just like they did,
100%.
right?
Yeah,
So
100%.
I mean, again, we're on our heels, but we're not sure what's going on, right? On that goal, like I said, I feel like if you call those first two penalties, you need to call interference there, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to make this another bitch fest about the refs, but I think if that's called properly, is Florida really all over us? I keep hearing about how amazing Florida is and how like Frank Severelli, that really got to me, by the way.
So sick of it.
You showed that thing, I should have only listened to the first 3 minutes. I listened to the whole thing. In the last like 18 minutes or whatever, you talk about how this is the greatest team in the last 15 years and how they could take out Chicago's teams, Pittsburgh's teams, etc. Like, come on, give me a break. Frick.
You know, we're on that train. Let me just say this: the Florida Panthers, for the first time with Pickard coming in there, totally messed them up. They finally realized that, oh hey, what happens if you don't score on every great opportunity and the Oilers start pushing back? That's what happens when you get goaltending that's timely, that's there to like stop that one shot that's supposed to go in and it doesn't, because it gives your team that kind of. The team was completely different when Pickard came, you know.
Absolutely,
And all of a sudden, I think Florida looked pretty, they looked pretty ordinary after that. They weren't the greatest team of all time. All of a sudden, were they when Pickard came in? You know.
You know what? Again, Skinner was pretty solid in the beginning. He made some pretty good saves.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend of mine this afternoon. Actually, we had a little catch-up session. He played goal, similar to you, and you might agree with this. Skinner made some saves, but even in like we were just exchanging text messages in the evening talking about Skinner drama, right? Mm-hmm. You've got to go across, but you merely make it across because you didn't read the play properly, and then the save looks as difficult as it is, but you could have made it, a lot easier. And I mean, that's sort of what we were talking about the entire time, right? Like even the second goal, does a big fat rebound need to come out like that, right? And even from behind the net there, Stetcher kind of lollygags after he gets hit in the face, etc. I mean, Skinner needs to make the save there, I feel, right? So as we started to break and crumble, we didn't get that save once again. Mm-hmm. And you could hear Knobloch at the end of the game say something that was very telling to me. I don't know if I read too much into this or not. But he mentioned Pickard, always just, he's like, I'm confident in him because he shows up. And he's like, it was amazing to see him make that timely save, basically.
Exactly. Yes, he did say that. And I think I heard that from Leon as well. He was talking about Pickard. He said he's the best in the league for coming in and making that save that the team needs, kind of deal, right?
He came in cold, difficult situation, no warm-up really. He's like, okay, you're going in, and then boom, makes a save on that breakaway from Anton Lundell, courtesy of Jake Walman, right?
Yeah, and that, you know what? I think that Pickard is, I'm not saying this because he's doing great now. I think you and I had conversations before the end of the season, and I was of the mindset that he's underrated for the goalie that he is. And it's amazing how in the league, when a player's small, for example, it's like Stetcher, a player who's a goalie like Pickard, who's a little bit smaller at 6'1" or 6'2" that he is, or whatever.
Well, that's hilarious that in this day and age, somebody at 6'1", almost 200 pounds is considered small to play in net, right?
Exactly, because they're giants. You compare that to Vasilevsky or Bobrovsky and some of these crazy big goalies, and yeah, he is smaller, right? But you can't discount this guy's skill. Unorthodox, call it whatever you want to. The guy makes the damn saves. I mean, if you're gonna be critical of him being unorthodox, what the heck was Dominic Hasek, the greatest of all time, in my opinion? What the hell was he? So you can't. I think this guy is slowly making a case for himself as a reliable, by far one of the better number twos, but I mean, he could challenge for a number one position the way he's playing. I really believe that.
I think just the ability to read the game. We were talking about this last time, and I don't know if it's just better hockey sense, or what. But
Yeah.
even in the, I think it was the second period, he made a save on a breakdown in our zone. Bennett's right on the doorstep, and the rebound. He does have a rebound, but he bats it through Bennett's legs and into the corner.
Right.
Right. Even on that goal that Florida ended up tying the game on, he put the rebound in a right spot at the beginning
Yeah.
there. And that's the difference, right?
Yeah.
But I like let's go back a little bit and let's talk about the intermission. Like, you left, you had to go. You're
Yeah.
like, I'm done. I'm sitting there and I'm like looking at Leon and the way that he's skating around, basically moping and walking. The body language did not look good. And I'm saying, normally I'm like, all right, don't worry, we'll settle down, we'll get in there and we'll regroup. But I'm like, just looking at the way that they just looked, I was like, I'm not confident. Obviously, we're going to still watch this game and, anything can happen, but I'm not confident this is going to happen tonight. Apparently, Corey Perry comes in, says something, and, they made some adjustments in the second. You see Pickard coming out. And then we got a power play.
Yeah.
How did we get a power play?
I have no idea. I was like, hallelujah. What happened there? Did the refs accidentally raise their hand or something? But we got a power play, and God bless Nuge. I love that guy.
Finally
Man, what a
got a
snipe.
seam pass.
Yeah.
Finally got a seam pass. And what a snipe, right? What a snipe.
Man. And that gave the team a lot of confidence because obviously, like, now that we know, in between periods, Corey Perry raised his voice at the team and he spoke out and he told them, like, like Leon put it, stop lollygagging and get your butts going. And then they come out and they get that goal within the first 2 minutes of the third. And I think that did absolutely amazing for the team, right? And the psyche and
the second, yeah. You know what? You like, just looking at body language, right? Again, after the first, they seemed defeated. They came back out, and it almost looked like, I don't know if you remember earlier in the season, early on in the playoffs, I was saying, look, you know what? They look like they don't have emotion, right? They go down, bad break happens. All right, no worries, and they get into the moment. It's almost like that guy, that George Mumford guy from last year. Remember, be in the moment, whatever he was talking about.
Right.
It's like he's probably there, like in the dressing room, telling them to do this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You just didn't see, like, you just like, all right, let's get going, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like we didn't have any breakdowns, right?
Yeah.
Like when it was 3-1, Wallman decided to give the puck to Lendl.
Yeah.
He goes in and Calvin stops him cold, holds on to that rebound, and we have life, right? We're like, oh my God, what a save. And then we just roll, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the other thing I want to say with respect to that is the adjustments. Kane was riding the pine after he took that penalty. I don't think Stetcher saw the ice again. I think he saw maybe 15 seconds, and then they went with 5 minutes.
I don't know if that was fair. I mean, that was a really unfortunate play. I think that he rushed back. He missed the puck as he took a swipe at it. But I mean, I'm not sure what else he could have really done there, right?
Well, he did, but I also think that if you watch the follow-up, like when he didn't battle, he got hit. He came around the other side of the net and he watched it go in, and he was like, right. I also think that may have been a little bit less to do with Stetcher than it did with Nurse as well, because I think that Nurse had an awful first period, and they were like, okay, well, we need to settle this down. What are we going to do? Nurse was on with Ekholm a lot in that game, right? I think his partners, for the most part, were Ekholm and Wallman. Yeah. He was out there a little bit with Bush as well, but I think they tried to keep Bush and Kulak together a little bit. Yeah. And I mean, Nurse scored a huge goal. Kind of redeemed himself.
Great game, man. After the first, I think his game was amazing.
He was. But I don't know how much, like I feel like that adjustment was huge. And the other thing, like I said, coach was not afraid to bench Kane, right? Kane didn't see the ice for
I wonder what the Oilers Nation out there was thinking when he took the first penalty again, and it's another stick to the face. I mean, what are we all thinking? Like, what the hell, dude?
It's a brutal call because it wasn't really a high stick, but again, don't put yourself in that position. 3 games in a row, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
What can we say about former Vancouver Canuck and current Edmonton Oiler, Mr. Paul Colson?
Oh man, I
What
have a lot of
that
Canuck
game?
fans I chat with, and they're agonizing. They're agonizing. Mind you, listen, I think like these Canuck fans of ours, buddies of ours, they've come around. They are really rooting for the Oilers, and
Oh, absolutely.
they are getting upset like you wouldn't believe when the refs are calling. So it's not, you sometimes examine. Okay, I'm biased because I'm a diehard Oilers fan, but when you hear other fan bases, I have a couple of Calgary Flames fans, buddies, and I have a few of my Vancouver Canuck fans, buddies, and they're coming out going, "This is absolutely atrocious. What's happening
Yeah.
in the refing?" They have nothing invested here. And in fact, some of these want to see the Oilers in the finals, but they don't want to see the Oilers win the cup. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
so these guys are coming out and saying this is
There's,
ridiculous. It's ridiculous,
you know,
right?
when McDavid blew through there and
Yeah.
almost tied the game,
Yes. Yeah.
I
That was
think
amazing. Yeah.
that was crazy.
Yeah.
But I think I got so many messages. They're like, you know what? We wanted McDavid so bad to tie that thing up. Or
Yeah.
I think it was 3-2 at that time. I think it was. And then
Yeah.
shortly the next play after that, I think we got the goal, right?
That's right.
Again, by Nurse.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because that's what I was thinking as well. Is I'm like, okay, are we just being biased here? But hearing teams that usually hate us, are like, dude, what is going on here? This is insane. I hope you guys kill these guys because this is
Yeah.
ridiculous,
Yeah.
right? Um, I mean, same juncture of time as well when they start calling penalties. It's just really hard to think anything else, right?
Yeah. The point I
You
was
know,
making really with the Canucks fans things is that we were talking about Colson. They're all hurting, man. They're like, why we give this guy away for a fourth
when
rounder, and he's killing it right now for the Oilers. He's doing amazing.
when he scored, I just sent out a text to the Canuck fans and I'm like, thank you, Vancouver. And every single one of them sent me back a big F you.
Yeah,
F you. I can't believe
exactly.
we traded him for a fourth. Like, what the hell, right?
Yeah, why me? You talk to
What?
Jim Rutherford there, buddy, old pal,
You know
and
what though?
your GM.
We gotta give Stan Bowman some credit.
Oh, for
He
sure. That
he
was robbery.
absolutely, absolutely. And you know, another thing, I was in the first period especially, and as the game went along in the second period, sorry, not the first period, I felt like Frederick was actually moving and he was very effective.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it was because they put him together with Henrique and Skinner. And by the way, Jeff Skinner was great. I thought he
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
battling,
he was. He was.
making plays. I thought that line was great. I
Yeah.
just wanted to mention that because this is the first time that I've seen, other than the fact when he
Yeah.
went after Bennett, that I was like, okay, I see why
His
people like
value. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He was very noticeable. He had a solid game. I was impressed with his play. You can go up and down that lineup. I don't think there was anybody I was really, even Stu Skinner. I have to say, I have to mention that the grade A chances were 13-1 in the first period. 13-1.
Yeah.
And to come out with 3-0 down, I think Stu really did his job in net for that first. But having said that, getting these other guys in there, getting Pickard in there, I totally noticed how the teams play completely changed. I think that's
play a
partly
little
because
bit
of what,
different.
yeah, maybe it's partly because of what Perry said in the dressing room. Maybe part of it, these guys woke up finally. Obviously, the chances were a lot lower the rest of the way, but I do feel that the team as a whole started playing different when Pickard got in net. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I agree with you. I think I had the grade A chances at 12 in the first, but yeah, we 12, 13. The 5 alarm chances were 7.
Mm.
And then the rest of the game, Edmonton gave up 11
Yeah,
grade
it's
A's
crazy.
and 6 5 alarm chances.
Wow.
So we definitely tightened it up, but again, it's
Too
also
many. Too many still.
the timely saves, right?
That's right.
I mean, like uh, that breakaway, right? Wellman, we're down 3-1. If
Yeah,
that goes in, are we having a different conversation today?
that's right.
Right? Are you
Right.
burning that jersey behind you? Right? um,
Never.
and then I mean overtime too, right? Bennett, that was
Yeah.
one save. There was another one that I mean, everyone's like, oh, he hit the bar or whatever.
No, that
He
was
got a
off his
big
glove.
piece of that one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And there was another one. I can't remember who shot it, but he got a piece of that one as well.
Off his left
Basically,
shoulder. I saw that too. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, we had some chances in overtime too. Frederick almost put that one in as well. It
Yeah.
wasn't like we didn't have anything, but we were pretty flat in overtime. But we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
I just want to go back to Skinner again, just to, I mean, was it bad luck, or again, are these problems caused by him? I mean, we sort of addressed that. I heard people say it could have been 6-0. I also think it could have been 2-0, right? So, I mean, I don't know. Like, do we as Oiler fans, or me as Oiler fan, have a hate on for this guy? Am I just hating on him for no reason? One thing Strudwick said is, if you look at the Nurse goal and if you look at Colson's goal and obviously Leon's goal, he's like, I didn't love those goals on Bobrovsky. So if Skinner lets those goals in, are you pissed off, right?
Mm-hmm.
My answer to that would be like, yes, I'd be pissed off, because he also would not have made that pad save off of Colson and a couple of other robberies as well, right?
Right.
But again, on a night where he actually came out and was holding the fort for a little bit in the first period there, I don't want to come down too much on him. Mm-hmm. The other thing I wanted to talk about, though, is what did we start doing differently? Do you feel like, obviously we made some adjustments, but I think the biggest thing that I saw, even in the first period, that they were trying to do, is they were willing to get rid of the puck and dump it in and go after it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, we talked about that. We were talking about that last part. Like, if it's not working, skating it in, why not just dump it in? Maybe they watch our pod. I don't know, because that started happening. But you know what? Listen, I should mention that I looked at some stats, and there was a show I was listening to in regards to Bobrovsky and Skinner. Up until Game 3, the numbers for the two, in terms of saves above what's expected, Bob was way over his actual limit.
He's making those saves at a 75% rate.
Yeah.
And Skinner's making them at a 50% rate, right?
And Skinner was way below what he normally makes them at, and Bob was way above what he normally. So that had to adjust at some point. So last night's game, I don't want to take anything away from the Oilers. It's not so much that Bob kind of gave really weak goals. We just had some puck luck in terms of it going off a defender and a couple of good shots. I mean, that Nurse shot was ridiculous. You say what you want to say. That was a goal scorer's goal. Yeah. Bob was down on his knees like he always is. Even the goal that Colson scored, Nurse thought about it because he circled behind the net and he saw that same opening, but instead of putting it there, he went behind the net, put it out front, and but Colson swiped it in. So they are starting to see it, right?
Absolutely. I don't really agree with what Strider was saying. I thought those were pretty good goals.
Yeah.
I mean, snipes, like RNH snipe, right?
That's right.
Nurse snipe, and he scored goals like that before. And even Puck Colson, man, he if you watch the reverse angle there, he's battling, he's getting mauled, he releases, and he's got the backhand, and he's looking at where he's shooting, right?
Yeah. That was by design. It wasn't a fluke. It went where it went.
And I mean, listen, this guy's a first-round talent. He was picked 10th overall, so I'm pretty sure he's got some skill, right?
That's right. No, listen, I am not going to take anything away. I think the only quote-unquote fluke goal that we had was Leon's overtime goal, and I don't even think that was a fluke. I think that was amazing that he was trying to. He didn't say I was trying to score. He said I was trying to get it over to Perry.
He's like Perry's at the other end of the post. He was trying to get him over there.
Yeah, and it went off the defender. Hey, how many times have the Panthers scored on us like that?
Yeah.
Like,
Hey,
so
listen,
why are their goals amazing and our goals are fluky? I don't get it.
So the way I see it, it was the exact opposite of Game 2, right?
Yeah.
The team that held the lead with like 10, 20 seconds left, gave away the lead, came out and got a lucky one, right?
Yeah.
Marchand's goal was pretty lucky in overtime, let's face it, right? Didn't even get a shot on net, right?
Yeah.
So par for the course, I would say. I mean, we're going back home, baby.
Yeah.
We thought it was going to
be crazy, man. It's going to be nuts.
But I mean, it's 2-2 home ice. Yeah. We've got it back.
Yeah.
We got to keep it though. We got to win. So can we do it?
If you think Game 4 was critical, and it was, I think it was critical. Listen, Aleem, I want to touch on something, and I'm still kind of a little bit concerned about this. Is when the Oil won the game, when they scored the overtime goal. I know some people have talked about this. The camera kind of pans over to the bench. McDavid had no emotion. Like, there was nothing going on there. There's no celebration, nothing. And to me, looking at their careers, this Game 4 was probably, I mean, every game is going to be big from here on, but Game 4 was probably the biggest of their careers for McDray, for Draisaitl and McDavid, because you lose that. You're down 3-1. You're going home. 3-1. Even if you won the one at home, you got to come back to Florida again. They only have to win one game, and it makes it that much tougher, right? And he should know emotion. So I don't know what to make of that. What do you make of that? Like, what do you think was going through his mind? Was he just tired, or is he just sick of this?
I don't know, but I did see some frustration, a lot of it throughout that game. I mean, let's be honest here. There was 2 or 3 failed clearing attempts in the last minute there where Florida had the puck. He couldn't get it out, right?
Oh, man.
I mean, you know what? If you watch the playoffs this year, he looks more pissed off after wins than other teams look after losses, right?
Right.
I think he's just dialed in. I don't know if there's anything other than that. I mean, look, I was happy when we scored that goal, but I was still pissed off. I was like, oh my God, like we were horrible
in
overtime.
Yeah.
We barely, so I don't know. I'm not saying like, I'm McDavid or anything like that. I'm just saying that like you can sort of understand because like, why the hell do we have to get pushed to the brink every single time before we show up, right? Let's get a wire to wire win. Let's dominate, right? And let's kind of close it down, right?
Well,
we haven't done
that's
that.
A perfect segue for wire to wire. You're coming back home. Series is now best of 3, and you have home ice 2 out of 3. If you win one tomorrow, I mean that puts you in a really good situation because you can close it out in Florida, or you can, if you don't make it there, you come back home and you have another shot at it. But you don't want to go down 3-2 back to Florida. That makes it that much tougher, considering the way they've been playing in Florida, considering how the reffing has been going. Nothing's in their favor in that building, and I think they hate it in that building. What do you think is going to happen tomorrow? I'm not going to make any predictions yet. I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, I think that, again, tomorrow's a must win. Every game here on in is a must win, and every game here on in is the best, most important, and significant game. We've got home ice. The thing is, our ice is way better. I mean, the ice in overtime especially was horrible. As in later on in the periods, like both teams are sort of fighting the puck in Florida. So I think we can do it. We have to do it. I think we'll do it. But a couple questions I have is, are we really having a debate about who's starting in net? There's people that are split on this. Some people are saying we have like Gazdic at the end of the game. I don't think you were watching that because I think you were catching up at that point. But I was telling you that he was saying, and I could not believe what I was hearing, but he's like, yeah, I think you go back to Skinner.
So you said that, and I actually watched the what's it called, the segment on Sportsnet they have with Ivanka's
buddy.
They're both interviewing one guest, and Gazdic was the guest after the show.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Ivanka's Lounge. And I actually listened to that. He said, as much as Ulov's too, and he's done great in the first, you have to go back. I think you might have misunderstood. He said you have to go back to Picks. He was saying go back to Pickard. He didn't say
go back
to.
That's what he said. I think what he's.
Really?
I think what he was saying. Well, what I heard him say was it's like it's not so cut and dry because you can go back to Stu, and then if you lose, then you can go back to Pickard. Because if you go and you lose this game,
no, you can't do that.
Then
why would you do that? After the way the team played, after the way the team played, I mean, look
from a goalie perspective.
What about giving Pickard some respect here? I mean, the guy comes in and he bails your ass time and time again. Not for you to just go back to Stuart Skinner again. Like
Pickard, I don't even know why I keep calling him Pickard today, but Pickard.
It is Pickard, but you call him Pickard.
Hey, listen, man. McDavid calls him Pickard, and when he was drafted, it was Calvin Pickard.
Okay.
So I'm listening to my captain. So what are you gonna do? Like you're gonna put Stuart Skinner back in and ask him to bail you out again if this happens, right? I don't know. I think you got to go with Skinner. I think you got to go with Calvin. I don't think it's a question.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't agree that you take the net away from the guy again. There's no way you should.
And you know what? He lost the net because he got injured. Right?
That's right.
We didn't want to go back to him. In fact, in game 2 versus Vegas, he saved our asses. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even with that busted ankle, he was making some big saves in overtime there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm in agreement with you on that. I just think now from here to the end, you go with Pickard and Captain Pickard, and if he messes up or by some chance, Florida gets ahead on some crazy goals, then sure, put Skinner back in. But I think this is it. From here on in, stop messing around, stop fooling around. We love Skinner, but here's
So
a bold prediction. I think he's going to ask for a trade at the end of this year, even if the Oilers don't intend on trading him or whatever. And I want to go on record saying this. The guy's 26 years old. Pickard, Captain Pickard, has been going around the league his entire career. He's 33 years old, and now he's making a case for himself. Goalies take time. And I think that Stuart Skinner has the tools to become a really solid goalie in this league. He's just been thrusted into a situation. I think Kevin BX touched on this. He's not supposed to be your number one. Your number one
no,
was
he
supposed to
wasn't.
be Jack Campbell, right?
Yeah,
And he's
yeah, he
gone.
was.
And this poor guy's been put into a situation where he should be really a backup in this team and
Well, it
learning.
was
And
supposed to be a
he's the
tandem,
number one.
right? It was
Yep.
supposed to be a tandem, and I mean, we have a
Yep.
tandem right now. It's not the one that we wanted, or what they set out for when they signed Campbell.
Right.
But listen, goaltender perspective. Um, I'm, back in '06, right? Rolly caught lightning in a bolt, or
Right.
lightning in a jar, rather.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I mean, I kind of feel very similar. A goalie friend of mine mentioned the same thing, and he's just like, "Look, he's on a heater right now.
Yeah.
He's making timely saves. He's got the confidence. You just got to roll with him, right?"
Totally reminds me of Rolly, man. Totally reminds me of him.
So I mean, hopefully we don't. Is anybody wearing number 47 on this team? I hope not. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Bergeron. Oh
But you know
man.
what? It kind of sort of did, right? Like he got nailed in that Vegas series and took him out, right? But luckily we were able to
Yeah.
get here, right?
Yeah. 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 No, I'm gonna make this. I think that Coach Knob came out and said that there will be more lineup changes for next game. I don't know if that's mind games again. I do think that maybe he's pulling out Stetcher for the game. I have a feeling that
Well,
that's
listen,
what might happen.
if you don't have confidence in the guy, where he's not allowed to mess up once or twice in a game, then you
Yeah,
shouldn't be playing him, right?
that's true.
And I mean, I feel like, looking back, right, with the 2 day break and then the 1 day turnaround, maybe this was by design. And maybe he just felt that Klingberg was tired and needed some rest, and maybe this was a plan all along. Who knows, right? Um, the other guy that we totally forgot about, and I was thinking about this afternoon, was Emerson, right? Why
Oh,
was it automatically Stetcher, right? What
yeah,
about Ty Emerson? And I
yeah,
mean, the analytics show that he's the most hit person, I think, in the NHL, meaning that he doesn't turn around behind the net and move the puck fast enough. So maybe he's not going to see the light of day.
yeah.
But I mean, if you're going to play 4 minutes, Klingberg can play 4 minutes, right?
Yeah,
Um,
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
so
Yeah,
I see him coming back in, I think.
I think so
Um,
too. I don't know about Skinner though. We're talking Jeff Skinner. I think he played a heck of a game. Uh, I
yeah.
really hope they keep him on until this is seen through, and hopefully he hoists the cup. He's on the ice when Oilers do win the cup. But I think he played good. He's earned his right to play. Do you go back to Arvidsson, or
Arvidsson,
you keep him in?
I think you roll with Skinner. Noluk doesn't really like to mess with a winning lineup. What was your favorite Jeff Skinner moment from last night?
Patting the guy when
Nice minus
that was
Kulikov.
freaking awesome, and the guy had nothing to
Nice
say. I don't know
minus.
who it was, but you patted him like, "Hey, buddy,"
It was
because the guy
Kulikov,
was.
the guy who I thought wasn't on Florida anymore, way back at the intro podcast, right?
Oh yeah, Kulikov, the former
Yeah,
Oiler Kulikov. I think he patted him because he was draped on him the whole
yeah,
time, wouldn't let him get away, so
yeah.
he doesn't score, and somebody else does. He's like, "Hey, thanks for holding me down."
But
you
hey,
know.
no, he said nice minus, buddy. He said
Oh,
nice minus. But you know what? Also, on on that play, because I think it was that play. Skinner, like the guy was draped over Skinner, but what Skinner did is he fell down and he held the guy's stick. He couldn't move, right?
nice.
And that caused the scramble
Yeah,
because you got one less defenseman and then they're trying to move over. Ekholm really sold the shot.
yeah,
And then when he passed it over to Nurse, that
yeah,
was
yeah.
that was phenomenal. But yeah, that was my favorite Jeff Skinner moment too.
Something occurred to me. If Skinner should be playing in the series against the Florida Panthers, because, like we said last podcast, We need some actors. And Skinner's the only guy on the team who's got penalties for embellishment. He'd be perfect guy in this series. He should be playing every game, you know?
Hey, you know what? We tried. Like Wallman snapped his neck back.
Nothing.
Stetcher snapped his neck back.
Nothing.
Bouchard, he tried to pretend he died.
Dude,
I mean, but that was a bad hit. That was
that
a
was a
dangerous
legit bad hit. That's a suspendable hit, man. What the hell was that? Not even a freaking penalty.
Yeah, doesn't get a call to penalty.
It's
I don't understand.
ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. I'm so tired of it.
But you know, just again, we're going back. Bouchard, I think he had the break that got our first power play, right?
Right.
I had a couple of people be like, "Hey, that's a really weak call," but I mean, that was our first call, right? They were saying like, I don't understand how that's a weak call though. He's getting ready to shoot, and the guy lifts, like, kind of slashes his stick and like hits him in the hand, takes away a scoring chance, right? That's the definition of a penalty.
Slashing. The only reason why people think it's weak is because of such
egregious calls have been missed.
Yeah, you don't call a perfect, like a boarding right on the numbers and his head is smashed against the glass. You don't call that, but you call a little slashing call on the guy. What the hell is that? You know?
Yeah.
So I get it, but that's man, it's the way it's been going for the Oilers. I'm glad that they won against the refs and the Florida Panthers. And
you know what? We got some power plays, right? I think we were 1 of 4.
Yeah.
But I was happy with the power play. I thought the power play was buzzing a little bit. It actually created momentum for us today instead of like losing momentum and making us wish that we had an NFL rule of like declining a penalty, right?
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, again, switching forward again, we were talking about can we do this and what it's going to take, some adjustments. You know, we've got to clean it up. There's so many things we can do to clean it up, and I'm still expecting that. And I'm also expecting Connor McDavid to score a goal, right?
He's got to come through. I mean, people have been talking about that. I don't know. I don't know why he's struggled so much in the finals, but it's not for lack of effort. I mean, the guy does get his opportunities, but this is the second year in a row in the finals where he's kind of snake bitten, right? So he's got to come through. And tomorrow night,
you know what? He's not shooting, right? And this is the part that really annoys me. Like, if that one power play where he ended up taking that the Gretzky slap shot from the center there that Barry almost put in, they basically parted the sea because they were like, this guy's not going to shoot, and he came in, and the play before that he had an opportunity to let a shot go as well, and he didn't. So Florida's not respecting him to shoot, and this guy scored 60 goals in this league before.
I don't get it for the life of me, man. What is he? Last the previous year, we thought that his ribs were injured because somebody, I think in the LA series, cross-checked him in the ribs. I can't remember who it was. It was Mikey Anderson or somebody like that, right? Some clown.
I think it went all the way back to game 1 against Vancouver, game 1 of the season.
Right. That's right. It was Tyler Myers who hit him in the ribs. I remember now.
Something like that. But two Oilers collided, remember? And one of them was him, and he left the ice.
Yeah.
They said he wasn't right since then, and then he had to take like a week off, remember? In December sometime.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm still waiting for him. And you know what? Leon had 3 points last night, and you and I were kind of arguing about this. I wanted to kill him last night a few times. I always want to kill him a few times in a game. Like, you know, my Canuck fans are like, amazing back check in the overtime, and I'm like, yeah, damn right, because he's the one who caused all that chaos with the horrible pass, right? Like, Jesus. And he ends up scoring that winner. And you know what's funny is he had that breakaway to seal it, right? And they clocked him at 34 kilometers an hour, and I'm like, he's going fast, but it looked like he was just walking, right? It didn't look like he was going fast.
He's a big guy, and he's a hulking guy. Yeah.
But listen, overtime.
Yeah.
We got an offensive zone face-off with a minute to go. We have an opportunity to burn so much time. What does he do? It's a 1-goal lead. What does he do? He takes a shot off the face-off. He's on his strong side as well. He's got a lefty on that side, and he's got an advantage. What does he do? He shoots it forward into ball. Like, as soon as that happens, I was so angry. I'm like, oh my God, like, seriously? Like, why not just pull it back or just, eat it in the corner? Let's waste 30 seconds here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I'm still waiting for a dominant performance.
I don't know if we're going to see it. I don't know if we're going to see it, man. I think we've both gone out and kind of made the prediction that it's going to be a lopsided win for the Oilers, and it hasn't happened. So at this point, at least, I am not of the mindset that the Oilers have it in them to. I don't think that it's ever going to be that 6-0, 6-1 like we saw last year in the finals. Like what was it, 8-1 or 8-1 win.
8-1, 5-1,
Yeah, I
right?
don't think I just don't see it, and it's partly because McDavid's not shooting the puck. It's partly because we're missing some key players like Hyman. He was huge. And I don't know if McDavid's just having a tough time with his line mates or what it is, but I
I
think
like
it's
the
just going to
Connor
be
Brown
close.
adjustment, though. I like the Connor Brown adjustment. I felt like
Yep.
they put a little bit more speed up front. Love
Yeah, yeah.
Corey Perry, but I think the issue with Perry sometimes is he's not able to get there, right?
Yeah, he's
And I
slow.
can
He's the
totally
slowest
relate
guy
to
on the
that.
team at his age, right? He just can't skate up there, right?
Forget his age; he's always been the slowest guy, right?
That's true. That's true. But I love the guy. He wants to come back next year. I think the Oilers should sign this guy
Perry.
and keep him. Yeah, just for
You know
his
what?
leadership.
I hated that guy so
Yeah.
much, but when he's on your team, you love him. And you know what? I was thinking in the first period, um, Perry's got to be telling them about 2017. He's like, "Yo, you idiots had us up 3-0 with like 5 minutes left in the game, and we came back. We still have two periods. Like, come
He
on, let's
must have
go."
said
Right?
that, eh?
He must have said something like that, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. But whatever he said, it worked, man. And it's for moments like that that this guy's worth every dollar, every dollar. Not to mention he's had a freaking amazing playoff run here. He's
10
been
goals.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's earning his keep, man. He's more than earning his keep, right?
You know,
But
you know what? One thing we didn't mention about the first goal, Nuge, Perry, that was utter brilliance. I sure other people have broken it down, but he went behind the net, right? And I think he confused the D when he came back around. And whenever you do that, Hyman used to do that all the time, right? Perry confused them. They messed it up. The seam opened up. Perry didn't get a point on that, but honestly, that was huge, I think.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's a lot
Those
of plays
little
like
plays.
that Perry doesn't get a point, but he should. Whether he's standing in front of the net, whether he's confusing people like that, whether he's holding somebody down, he's always doing something. He's always
Whether
involved in
he's
the play.
whether he's beating a guy up twice his size, right?
Yeah, yeah, like he'll do it all. And he's 40, man. He's pushing, so I think he's
He's
earning
got
his
old
keep.
man strength, right?
Old man strength, old man wisdom, and he's using it to the fullest.
Did you
Yeah, what did Leon say? I'm sure he wants to keep playing. Let's see if his legs can keep up.
He's like, who knows if the boots will keep up, but
Yeah, yeah,
he's like, the hands are still there, right?
yeah. The hands
But
are definitely still there. Yeah,
but when they asked Perry about that, he's like, it doesn't matter. I never had them anyways, right? So
yeah,
that's why it's so easy. But did you
yeah,
hear
yeah.
him when they interviewed him after? Because they're asking everybody, what do you say? What do you say? And they asked him today. It definitely wasn't wisdom. Right? he's like, it wasn't anything groundbreaking. It was like, he's like laughing, and they're all laughing. Right?
That's awesome. It was just profanity laced. He did his best impression of Connor McDavid last year.
Probably, man.
But
But you know what?
okay.
Just one more thing, another beauty, Wallman. Like, what a guy, hey?
Oh man, that
That
slapper.
popper. Do you
It
think he would
felt
have killed?
good. It felt good.
Oh my god! But do you think he would have killed freaking Kapanen if he shot the puck? By the way, Kapanen, unreal. He faked the shot there, froze him,
Yeah,
put him over,
yeah.
but Bob still got there. Like,
Yeah,
geez,
that was a hard freaking slapper, man. I don't know
he
what it was
wired
cocked
that.
at, but I'm telling you, that was
90,
like that was like
94,
a
I think.
94 miles an hour, but that was like a cup of cold water in the desert for every Oiler fan at that point of the game, waiting for something to happen. And
6
that
minutes
guy
to
comes
go.
through,
Yeah,
and oh, dude, that was incredible. I was like, man, I loved it. Again, Bowman, hats down. What an acquisition, man.
thank you, Mike Greer and Bowman.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
harassed him for the whole season. He's like, "Yo, give me this guy. Trade
Yeah,
up,
and all
trade up."
the all the all the Oiler fans who were like critical of, oh, we gave up a number one for this guy. He just earned it last night with that slapper. For me, that
Oh,
was like,
buddy, last night, the whole playoff run, he's been
of
phenomenal.
course.
Like,
Oh yeah,
without anything,
yeah, yeah,
jeez.
yeah. I love the fact that he got two $5,000 fines the previous game. Freaking awesome. That's freaking awesome because that shows he cares. He was standing up for his teammates, for himself. He was doing the same thing the Panthers were doing. They didn't get anything for blatant penalties, and he gets
Was it
two
was it
5,000
because of
fines.
the water bottle incident? I think
Yes,
someone stole his glove and soaked it in water. So then he tried to
they
he's
they
throwing
kept it
water.
in their bench. It was under their feet. They wouldn't give it back to him.
Yeah, but I also think that they soaked it in water and then they threw it to the
Oh.
pool or something.
Well, whatever it was, I mean, he got the fines, and I'm sure he doesn't care, and the team loves him even that much more for it, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure Kate's probably ponied up for those fines, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, I for sure. If not, I think the fans should open a GoFundMe page and
Yeah,
pay for the guy's fines
I'll pay
because
a
that's
dollar.
what we want. Yeah, whatever, man. But so predictions for next game, man. Let's get to that. What do you think? Now is the time to be bold here.
Well, I'm still waiting for and I don't even know if I want to say it, but I'm still waiting for that complete game, right?
Yeah,
I'm hoping it's a non-eventful game, and
yeah.
it's 2-1, 3-2 Oiler victory. Um, I don't know. Maybe we'll get an empty netter this time.
I want it to be lopsided, man. I know it's probably not gonna be, but I'm hoping for one of those epic ass kickings where they can go with
I'll
the
take 8-1.
momentum.
I'll
Yeah,
take
go
eight
with
one.
the momentum and the confidence back in Florida. And like uh, uh, Dave Amber
So
said, the Stanley Cup's going to be there. So
yeah,
you look at it and say, we're going to take that home with us, you know?
there's a fine line, right? You know, if you get your ass kicked and you're heading back into Florida, are you pissing them off more? What if you barely squeak by? Do they have this sense of
I
confidence?
think
I don't know about this. I don't know about this, right? Because I feel like, do you think Florida's rattled right now? I asked you that, I think.
they are not. Listen, I don't think they're rattled, but they're we definitely have their attention because they tried everything they usually try and they would come out with goals. And they did the same thing, last night, and they didn't come out with goals because Captain Pickard got in the way. He was not letting anything in, except for the one with 19 seconds to go. But uh, I think that in their mind, these things do play. These things definitely. I mean, you've played hockey. I've played hockey. When a goalie gets really hot, you sometimes start doubting that, are you going to be able to score on this guy or not? What I
Yeah.
can tell you is that if they lose tomorrow night, it's not a matter of whether or not they're pissed off. It's going back to Florida. Are they going to lose three in a row again? Is in the back of their minds, because if they lose one tomorrow and back in Florida, that's three in a row and they've lost the cup. So I don't know whether it's going to be tomorrow or in Florida. They might come out with a win in one of those two games. As much as it pains me to say it, I think this Florida team losing three in a row to the Oilers is a tall ask for the Oilers, and I think it's something that I don't know they will let happen. And this could very well go to seven.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't. I hope we finish this
Me
off in the
too.
sticks. You know
Me
what?
too.
Everybody was saying the same thing. We beat LA 4 in a row. We beat Vegas, what, the first two, and then
Yeah.
lost one, and then won two more in a row. We
Yeah.
beat Dallas, what, 4 in a row, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's possible. It's
so I
possible.
don't know. Like it is possible. I'm hoping it is because I don't
Yeah.
really want Game 7.
Yeah. Yeah, and if that happens, the two things have to happen. Pickard has to stand on his head again and make those five-alarm saves throughout the game to keep the guys in there. And McDavid's got to start scoring. He's got to come through at
Yeah,
some point in this playoffs,
yeah,
and
I agree.
now it's on him.
We
He's
need
got
to
to step it
look.
up.
We need a solid performance tomorrow. The one thing is Florida's a good road team, and I think the good ice helps them as well.
Of
So
course.
we've got to be mindful. We don't want to get on the again. Same thing. Don't take penalties. These high sticking penalties that they're going to kill Knob. They're going to kill me. Right? We gotta stop that shit. If you're going to be taking a penalty, like you said, punish the crap out of these guys. Like
Yeah,
take a
make it
boarding
count.
penalty,
Yeah,
right?
make it count. Make it
Take a
count.
slash where the guy's arm falls off or something. Don't high stick errantly or
Yeah,
like trip a guy with your, toe pick or whatever. Make it count, right?
yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I feel like if we can get a decent performance, pull out a win, then we go to Florida. Connor, this is like his signature game,
yeah,
rips it up, and Calvin's really solid.
yeah,
That's what I see.
yeah,
But again, I'm scared to say this because every time I say something, the opposite seems to happen lately.
yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, it's going to be one thing's for sure, man. The one thing that really scares me is that the Oilers don't show up tomorrow night, and if they drop the game tomorrow night, they've made it that much harder on themselves. And what do we know about the Edmonton Oilers historically? They don't like doing anything the easy way.
Yeah,
They don't like doing anything the easy way, which is like,
especially this team. Yeah,
yeah. So this is why it's like it's difficult to predict, a blowout or anything like that. But what I would like to see is at least a full game from these guys. The games that we're used to seeing from these guys, they haven't played a
minutes.
single game against Florida, and this is why people are thinking that this team is the greatest team of all time, which irks me to no end. We have to play. We have to play a full game and show these guys what this team is made of, right? So
So on that note, I heard a few people say that the Oilers played Florida Panther hockey yesterday, in that we decided that we're going to chip the puck in and go after it. Do you necessarily think that we've adjusted and we're playing their game now? Because I don't.
I don't think so. We're playing. I felt in the second and third period the Oilers played Oilers hockey, not Florida Panthers hockey, which is what got them to this point. Is that they stuck to their own game plan. They kept pressuring. They took some offensive zone time in the Florida end, which they were struggling in the previous games. Right?
We didn't stop attacking. What did I say? With a minute to go, Leon takes a shot on net. It's a 1-goal game, right?
Yeah.
We didn't stop attacking, and I think I like that. I like that mentality. I hope we keep it going. I just want to see clean. We just need to be cleaner in our zone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a big game tomorrow, man. I mean, we said that about Game 4, but tomorrow's massive. It's a massive game for the Oilers. I really hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
home ice doesn't mean anything unless you protect it, right? So we've got it back. We have to win. We have to protect it. Must-win game. Biggest game of this Oiler season. Biggest game of this group, right?
By far.
This is the closest that we've been since hoisting the cup in 1990, right? We were down 3-1 in 06. We were down 3-0 last year, and it's 2-2. This is the closest we've been.
Yeah.
We need to channel our Mark Messier's and whoever the hell else we had on that 1990 team. I don't even remember. Glenn Anderson's, Curry's, Tikkanen's, right?
Yeah. In a regular season, if it was a 3-game series against the Florida Panthers, you ask people, which team would you take? Would you take the Florida Panthers over the Oilers? Probably not, man, because towards the end of the year, the Edmonton Oilers were they weren't playing great, but it's the Oilers. If they wanted to win, they could win against anybody. So they need to
are we going to get? Depends on the officiating, right? Just like when you ask, like, what era are we playing in? What officiating are we going to be getting? Right?
That's the unknown, right? That's the unknown, and it is the known. The Oilers know that they're not going to get any benefit from the officials. Play a clean game. I mean, it's difficult against this team, but keep your sticks down.
Just listen. Let's keep your sticks down. We were talking about this afternoon. Not you, but I was talking about this with somebody else, and I think they talked about it in the Cult of Hockey. Just Kane. He leads with his stick up when he's going in, right? That's where we really miss Hyman, because he would go in and he would have his stick down and hitting properly, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, big game tomorrow. Hopefully we come out ahead.
Yeah.
We didn't hear your nude story today. Would have been great.
We will. We got time for that. But we'll talk about that some other time. It's a great story, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you guys. But we'll do that some other time.
Sounds good, man. All right, have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow, Oilers.
Yeah, stay positive, Oiler Nation.
Later,
buddy.